Howdy fellas, I hope you're having a good week, and it sure was cool around here this morning. It was 50 degrees. It's warmed up quite a bit today. It's in probably the upper 70s, but weather like that gets you thinking about hunting season coming up before long. Squirrel season's already started, and deer season will be in here before you know it in this part of the country. And there's a lot of debate and downright argument when it comes to it. What's the best caliber to use? Well, there's several points to the discussion that you need to take into consideration. What type of terrain or what condition are you going to be hunting in? In this part of the country, due to what the deer like to eat the most, which are mostly acorns, they do like hickory nuts to some extent, and will try to eat walnuts when there's nothing else available. Most of your hunting's going to be in the woods or in some type of brush. And there's some situations where when there's not a good nut crop in the woods, that sometimes you'll hunt open fields. But in this part of the country, your shots are going to average 75 to 100 yards is a long shot, most situations. So you want to kind of use what caliber would work the best in that situation. And a lot of people talk about brush guns. This is probably the ultimate brush gun around here. It would be a 45-70, but you got like 30-30, 35 Remington, all those around 2,000 feet per second cartridges that work well in cover. And the reason they work well in cover is because a real fast, light bullet, a lot of times limbs, small limbs and twigs will deflect that round. Where they say, you know, this will bust through the brush. Well, it won't, but it's not near as prone to being deflected by small stuff. For a lot of years in this part of the country, in Tennessee, the 24 caliber or 243, 244, 6mm Remington was the smallest thing you could use. But several years ago, they changed that to you could use anything Centerfire 17 caliber and above. Now, that's another thing, another argument is bullet placement. You know, I've got a friend, that's all he's ever used is a 243, and he's taken a lot of deer and hadn't lost any, really. I don't think he's ever said he's lost one, because he's a real good shot. And another thing, when you're hunting long ranges, open fields, a lot of people say, I shot one at 450 yards. Well, was it luck or was it skill? Now, in my book, anytime you shoot anything over 200 yards, unless you're just an excellent marksman, you run the risk of losing game. That's just something I wouldn't do. You know, even if it was Wilbur the Hartford elk, I probably wouldn't take a shot over 200 yards or something. Then, of course, you got on up in the 270, 308, 30-06 calibers, which are real good. Still a little bit fast for brush, but a lot of people use them. And when I used to work at the store, a lot of people say, I want a 7mm Magnum 300 Winchester. I don't want to have to track that deer. Well, there again, that's lack of marksmanship and not taking a good, clean, ethical shot. You know, if you do things right, like with a 243 or something along that line, you're not going to track it very far. So it's just something that you need to think about when it goes to choices of caliber. You might want to get something that will work well in both situations, somewhat open. Now, something like a 30-30, you think, well, that's, you know, a short range gun. Now, I've known the people that shot them and dropped them at 150, 200 yards with a 30-30, but they were, you know, good shots, good marksmen. So you need to take all that stuff into consideration when you start talking about calibers. You may want something that you kill a bull elephant with to hunt with. If you want to, that's fine. But you just need to look at the conditions you're going to be hunting in. Is it going to be in the woods, in brush, or is it going to be open terrain? So that's just some of the things you want to think about when you start selecting calibers for the situation. I appreciate you watching. God bless you. Keep your powder dry and mind your top knot.